Okay, so get this. We're diving into AI that does its own research.
Yeah, oh, wow.
You've been digging into RAG retrieval, augmented generation.
Right.
Which basically means instead of AI just like making stuff up, it's actually pulling information from tons of sources to make its answers super accurate.
Right.
But then the question is, how do you know if those answers are any good?
Oh, absolutely.
That's where this whole LLM as judge thing comes in.
It's fascinating. It's really changing the game. Think about those classic AI chatbots.
Yeah.
They give you some great info sometimes, and sometimes it's just totally off base.
Totally.
And RAG is meant to kind of fix that by grounding the AI in real knowledge.
Right.
But we still need a way to check its work.
Yeah.
And doing that manually would just take forever.
So it's like my AI can now write a research paper.
Okay.
But I need a professor to grade it.
Yeah.
And we want that professor to be another AI.
Exactly. Using an LLM.
Okay.
A large language model, which is basically the brains behind these AI systems.
Yeah.
As the judge makes the whole evaluation process automatic.
Okay.
We don't have to rely on humans to comb through everything.
Right.
Which is slow and can be inconsistent.
Okay. So speed and consistency.
Yes.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still stuck on how an AI can judge GE and other AI's work.
Right.
What's the standard?
Well, the key here is that the LLM judge isn't just looking at the final answer that the RG system spits out.
Right.
It's evaluating the entire process.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Did it pull from relevant sources? Were the right chunks of information selected?
Yep.
Was the right embedding model used?
Interesting.
It's like a cooking show judge who not only tastes the final dish, but also checks if the ingredients were prepped correctly and if the right techniques were used.
Okay, that's a way better analogy than the research paper one.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this is way more in-depth than just checking if an answer is right or wrong. It's about ensuring the whole reasoning process is sound.
Exactly. And from what you've been reading, it seems companies are already using this in some really creative ways.
Yeah, like Enverse. They're doing this thing with energy data.
Huh?
They've got like 25 years worth of reports and stuff.
Wow.
And now their AI can pull insights from all of it in an instant.
That's incredible.
That's got to be useful in a field like energy where decisions have huge consequences.
Absolutely. Imagine having instant access to 25 years of expert knowledge.
Yeah.
But in any field, that's the potential of RAG with this LLM judge system.
Wow.
Making decisions becomes a lot less risky when you've got that kind of backing.
Okay. Now, that is an aha moment.
Yeah.
It's not just about faster answers.
Right.
It's about better informed answers.
Exactly.
Decisions that companies, researchers, anyone can actually trust.
And that trust comes from knowing that the AI didn't just get lucky with the right answer. The whole process was vetted every step of the way. It's like having a safety net under this incredible new capability.
All right, I'm sold on the concept.
Okay, good.
But there's got to be more to it. I mean, we've only been talking about text so far.
Right.
What about all the other types of data out there?
Yeah.
Images, videos, databases. Can this LLM judge handle all that?
That's a great question, and it leads us to some of the most exciting developments in this field.
Okay.
The fact is, AI is no longer limited to just text.
Right.
We're seeing LLMs like Amazon Nova that can process all sorts of data.
Wow.
Making the possibilities for RAG even more mind-blowing.
Hold on. So we're talking about AI that can watch a video, read a chart, and analyze a spreadsheet all at the same time.
Absolutely.
Really?
Think about the potential for research alone.
Okay.
You could have AI pulling insights from scientific papers with complex visuals, data sets, even videos of experiments.
Wow.
It's a whole new level of understanding.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole,
let's
zoom in on this data part.
All right.
How does an AI go from a question like, what were my top-selling products last month, to actually getting that info out of a database?
Right.
I mean, databases aren't exactly known for their conversational skills.
And that's where things get especially interesting.
Yeah, it's all about translating, human language into something a database can understand.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't walk into a library and just shout, give me information about ancient Rome.
Right.
You'd need to use the right keywords, search in the right sections,
Right. You'd need to speak the library's language.
Exactly.
So to speak.
Yeah.
So how do we teach AI to speak database?
Well, we're talking about SQL.
Okay.
Which is the language used to query databases.
Right.
And this is another area where the LLM judge shines.
Okay.
it can evaluate how well the AI translates a regular question into a proper SQL query.
So instead of me needing to learn SQL
Right.
or hire a data scientist every time I want to ask a question about my business data.
Yeah, I could just ask my AI in plain English.
Exactly.
And it would figure out the right query.
That's the idea. And not only that,
Right.
the LLM judge makes sure the AI is generating efficient queries.
Oh, interesting.
You don't want it taking forever to find the answer or pulling in a bunch of irrelevant data.
Okay, I'm seeing how this gets really powerful.
Yeah.
For anyone working with data.
Absolutely.
But what about security? If anyone can just ask their AI to dig into databases,
right?
Couldn't someone accidentally delete something important?
Yeah.
Or worse, intentionally mess things up?
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
And it's something that platforms like Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases take very seriously. They've built in safeguards to prevent accidental or malicious changes to the data. The AI can tell the difference between a query that just retrieves information and one that tries to modify it.
So it's like having a security guard at the database store.
Yeah.
Checking everyone's ID before they can even look at anything, let alone touch it.
That's a great way to put it. And not only that, the LLM judge also evaluates the accuracy of those SQL queries themselves.
Oh, wow.
It considers things like the specific structure of your database, past queries, even the particular flavor of SQL that your database uses.
So it's like having an AI SQL expert double-checking the AI's work before it's allowed to touch the database.
Right.
Okay, that does make me feel a lot more comfortable about the whole thing.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears for a second.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that LLMs like Amazon Nova can handle more than just text.
Right.
What are some of the coolest things they can do with this multimodal data?
The applications are incredible and constantly expanding.
Okay.
Think about customer support. Imagine a customer can send a screenshot of an error message, a diagram of their setup, even a quick video showing a problem they're having. An LLM like Nova can analyze all that together and understand the issue way better than if it just had a text description.
That's like going from trying to diagnose a car problem over the phone to having the mechanic right there looking under the hood.
Exactly. And it's not just customer support. Think about healthcare. An AI that can look at a patient's medical images. Lab results, A&D, their written medical history, all at once. To help with diagnosis, that's a whole new level of medical insight.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
But let's go back to this idea of the LLM as a judge for a second.
All right.
We've talked about how it evaluates the process of getting an answer. But what about the quality of the answer itself?
Right.
How does the LLM judge if it's actually a good answer?
That's where things get really nuanced.
Right.
The LLM is trained on a massive amount of data, which includes examples of good and bad answers.
Right.
It learns to recognize patterns and characteristics that make a response relevant, accurate, and well-structured.
So it's kind of like how we learn to write good essays in school.
Yeah.
We read examples, get feedback from teachers, and over time, we develop a sense of what makes a strong argument, a clear explanation, or a well-written paragraph.
Exactly. The LLM judge goes through a similar process, but on a much larger and more sophisticated scale. It learns to recognize the hallmarks of a high-quality answer. Even if it's dealing with complex or technical topics.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But how does this actually play out in a real-world scenario? Can you give an example of how an LM judge might evaluate the quality of an answer generated by a RAG system?
Let's say you're using a RAG-powered chatbot to get information about a specific medical condition. You ask the chatbot, what are the latest treatment options for rheumatoid arthritis? The chatbot uses a RAG to pull information from medical journals, clinical trial data, and reputable medical websites.
Got it.
It then generates a response that summarizes the available treatment options, including their benefits and potential side effects.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah.
The chatbot has done its research and provided a seemingly comprehensive answer. But how does the LLM judge come into play?
The LLM judge steps in to assess the quality of that response. It looks at things like, is the information accurate? Is it presented in a clear and understandable way? Is it relevant to the user's question? And does it take into account the user's potential concerns or anxieties?
So it's not just about providing information.
Right.
It's about presenting that information in a way that is clear, accurate, trustworthy, and relevant to the user's needs.
Exactly. The LLM judge acts as a quality control expert, ensuring that the responses generated by the RAG system meet high standards of accuracy, relevance, and clarity.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's like having an AI editor. Who polishes the chatbot's responses to make sure they are both informative and engaging?
Right.
But what about scenarios where there are multiple possible answers to a question?
Okay.
How does the LLM judge handle those situations?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of training the LLM judge to recognize the nuances of different types of questions and responses.
Okay.
In some cases, there might be a single objectively correct answer. In other cases, there might be multiple valid perspectives or interpretations.
So the LLM judge needs to be smart enough to know when to look for a definitive answer and when to evaluate the quality of multiple perspectives.
Exactly. And that's why the training data is so crucial.
Okay.
The LLM judge needs to be exposed to a wide range of questions and responses, including examples of both objective and subjective answers, to develop the ability to distinguish between them and to evaluate their quality appropriately.
It sounds like training an LLM judge is a complex and challenging task.
It is.
But it also seems like a critical one.
Absolutely.
Given the importance of ensuring that RAG systems are providing accurate and reliable information.
Absolutely. The LLM judge is the gatekeeper of quality control for RAG systems.
Okay.
It's the key to unlocking the full potential of this technology, ensuring that it's used to provide trustworthy, insightful, and valuable information that can benefit individuals and society as a whole.
Well said, but before we get too carried away with the potential benefits, let's take a step back and consider some of the potential limitations or challenges of using an LLM as a judge for ARG evaluation.
Okay.
What are some of the things we need to be mindful of as this technology continues to evolve?
Well, one of the key challenges is ensuring that the LLM judge itself is unbiased and free from any inherent flaws or prejudices. Remember, LLMs are trained on massive amounts of data. And if that data contains biases, those biases can be reflected in the LLM's judgments.
So it's not just about building a smart LLM judge. It's about building a fair and impartial one that can evaluate RAG responses objectively.
Exactly. We need to be very careful about the data used to train LLM judges. Ensuring that it is representative, diverse, and free from any harmful stereotypes or prejudices.
That makes perfect sense. But what about the evolving nature of language and knowledge? LLMs are trained on a snapshot of data at a particular point in time. How do we ensure that the LLM judge can keep up with new information, new trends, and even new ways of expressing ideas?
That's a crucial point. And it highlights the need for ongoing training and updates. LLMs need to be continuously learning and adapting to keep pace with the ever-changing world of information and communication.
So it's not just about building an LLM judge. It's about nurturing it, providing it with ongoing training, and ensuring that it stays up to date with the latest developments in language and knowledge.
Exactly. The LLM judge is not a static entity. It's a dynamic, evolving system that requires ongoing care and attention to ensure that it remains effective and reliable.
Well said. This deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
Oh, good.
Shedding light on the fascinating world of RAG LLM judges and the transformative potential of AI. We've explored how LLMs can evaluate the entire RAG pipeline, ensuring the accuracy and reliability of AI-generated responses. We've discussed the LLM judge's ability to handle various types of data, from text to images and even database queries. We've delved into the nuances of assessing answer quality, understanding the LLM judge's role in recognizing context, relevance, and clarity. And we've touched upon the importance of responsible AI development, addressing potential biases, and emphasizing the need for ongoing training and updates. But there's one final burning question that I think our listeners are eager to explore. So we've talked about this LLM as judge, making sure things are accurate and unbiased. But what about the really complex stuff? Like understanding the relationships between different pieces of information. Not just the facts themselves. That's going to be a whole other level of AI.
You're absolutely right. That's where something called graph RAG comes in.
Graph RAG.
Yeah. Imagine like a web of knowledge where everything is connected, people, places, events, concepts. Graph RAG lets the AI navigate this web, understanding not just what something is, but how it relates to everything else.
Okay, so it's not just reading a bunch of separate documents anymore.
Right.
It's understanding the whole network of information.
Yeah.
Like seeing the forest and the trees.
Exactly. Think about research.
Okay.
An AI, using graph RAG, could connect the dots between different studies.
Wow.
Find hidden patterns, even suggest new areas of research that humans might have missed.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like the AI is doing the thinking for us, helping us see things we wouldn't have been able to on our own.
Absolutely.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
What are some real-world examples of how this kind of AI is being used today?
Well, we're seeing it in things like personalized recommendations. Think about a streaming service that not only knows what shows you've watched, but also understands the connections between different genres, actors, themes. Yeah. It can suggest something you'd love that you wouldn't have even thought to search for.
That's way more advanced than just people who watch this also watch that.
Yeah.
It's like hitting a friend who knows your taste perfectly and can always recommend something amazing.
And that's just scratching the surface. No. Imagine this kind of AI helping doctors make diagnoses. Okay. Taking into account a patient's entire medical history and the relationships between different symptoms and conditions. Right. Or financial analysts using it to understand complex market trends and make better investment decisions.
Okay, the possibilities are seriously endless.
They are.
But with all this power comes a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
How do we make sure this technology is used ethically and for good?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's something we need to be thinking about constantly as this tech evolves. Yeah. We need to make sure these AI systems are transparent. Okay. That we can understand how they're making decisions. Right. We need to guard against bias. Yeah. Making sure they're not perpetuating harmful stereotypes or unfair practices.
It sounds like it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the people behind it, making sure they're developing it with the right intentions and safeguards.
Absolutely. And it's also about educating people about this technology. Okay. Making sure everyone understands its potential and its limitations. Right. The more people understand AI, the better equipped we'll be to use it wisely and ethically.
Well said. This has been an incredible journey.
Good.
From the basics of AI doing its own research.
Yeah.
To the potential of understanding vast networks of information.
It's amazing.
It's clear we're just at the beginning of what's possible with this technology.
And the most exciting part is we don't even know what those possibilities will be yet.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be an incredible ride.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us as we explored how LLMs are changing the game for AI.
It's fun.
Keep those questions coming, because who knows what we'll uncover next time.